Okay guys, well, Albinario has finally arrived in the lobby and Cobra is here. He's been in practicing for the last half an hour. Now I wonder if Albinario is letting him stew a little bit, or whether he's been practicing offline. I hope he has. There's a risk of being caught cold in such a short race. It's a race to 11 and it's a round 10 match on the one-loss side. We're down to the business end of this tournament. Yamaguchi Taru is in the final, and this is a one-loss side, and this is a match we're about to see. And the winner of this match will play Bedhead, who was sent to the one-loss side by Yamaguchi Taru, and that's a one-loss side final. And there is a spot waiting for the winner of this match. So the match is due to start any second now. The room should be up. And we will dive in. So Cobra has won the lag. And he's breaking. 6 ball is going in the top left. Quick reminder of the rules again. It's alternate break. No jump cues. 9 ball wild in the break. If it goes in, you win the rack. Now Albinario in this tournament has yet to play good, and this is the time he's going to have to play good. He's got all the way through so far after having lost in that final rack decider in his second round match against Mr. Bill, and he's going to have to rely on his experience to possibly get him through this match. Cobra very strong, but somewhat of an unknown quantity in these big tournaments because he doesn't play a lot of them. Usually just a 9-ball player in the challenge rooms, but that's actually a pretty good kick by Albinario. Cobra hampered over this 3-ball. And a quick look at the stream, and the stream looks okay. Now is Albinario going to risk the bank, because this is an all or nothing shot? If he gets this bank, he's got to be on the 2, and then the rest of the table is there for the taking. And this will tell you what he's thinking on how he plays this 1-ball. Now he's got to be thinking, if he doesn't get it safe, that Cobra's going to run out. Well, he's went for the bank. He's missed the bank. Now I'm sure that 1-ball goes past. Yep, plenty of room. That's a guide for that 1-ball. So Albinario took the risk in the bank, and it was all or nothing. And now we expect Cobra to do the business. So the tactical choice there by Albinario was to go for it. He who dares wins, and it looks as if it might backfire. And of course Cobra, having been in for half an hour or so, should have got his eye in for the pace. Well, ideally he wants to go up to the middle pocket, somewhere in the middle of the table, to make things simple. The angle he's got would suggest that the natural path would be to do that, and that's what he's done. Still needs to have a slight angle in this 7-ball if he can. That would be ideal. And he's gone a wee bit straight. Well, he has a choice. He could risk running through, but that's a bit dodgy. And then he's got the little draw off this 7 ball. Just back past the middle pocket here. So no sign of any nerves here in this first rack from Cobra. But it could so easily have been Albinario running out. He took the risk of the bank and it didn't come off, and the expected outcome was it was going to lose the rack, and that's what's happened. So first blood to Cobra, and it's Albinario's break, and he's dry, and it's another chance for Cobra. Now he could do a little sort of soft stun draw in between that 9 and 2. It's a little delicate shot, but that would be the shot to try and draw into that gap and play the 2 into this left middle, or he could leave it long if he goes too far into this bottom left hand corner. But either way, he should have a route to get back up for that 3 ball. Well, he might have tried to play the gap there. I don't know. He had a look at the angle he had. He possibly played for the little kiss onto the 2, but it doesn't matter. It's worked. Well, this one's fairly straightforward. A little soft draw again off that end rail and out for the long 4. And once again, he cannot leave himself straight on this 5 ball. He needs to stun off this. How's the angle he's got in that 4? Well, that's actually dead straight. So he's got to probably draw back or run through either way to leave an angle. Can't leave it straight. Well, he's going to have to stun this in. And he needs to watch he doesn't run too far here. Or is he going to try and run around the corner behind the 7, 8 and 9? Well, that's actually not a bad shot, because now he can leave himself on this 7. But ideally, he would like to stun the cue ball into the 9, but I don't think that's sitting perfect enough to do that. So once again, it all hinges on how he leaves himself on this 7, because it can go wrong. I think he's gone. He's pretty straight. Now this is going to be delicate. He could actually snooker Albinario here. If he runs through, he could snooker Albinario behind that 9, because he can only go forward or back on this shot, and if he goes forward, he's going to have no shot on the 8. If he goes forward very softly, he'll have a dodgy cut back into that pocket. So this is a crucial shot, and he's left himself no choice but either the bank or the cut, and this is not easy. All because he had left himself too straight on the 7. And that isn't going to get there. Now, how's his luck? Well, he's not got it, so a chance for Albinario to steal this one back. Fairly simple shot. 9 into the opposite middle. Well, that goes down as an error by Cobra. It was a very good chance. That little bit out of line, just that's how easy it is to cause problems. So we're at 1 rack all. Cobra breaking off in rack number 3. Couple of balls have gone in, and he's sitting on the 1. And he may well redeem himself here if he doesn't get out of shape. Well, I think he's slightly hampered by that 6 ball, and that makes it slightly more difficult as well because he's got the distance to travel to the top end of the table, but a big window to get in here in that gap there, and he's left it quite a bit short. So it's going to be a long 5 as well. And don't forget, when he left himself on that 8 ball at such an angle, straight away he needs to tighten up on his position rather than having to rely on great shots to keep the run going. So this is a crucial one. 6 balls only going into that left hand corner or anywhere up the table. So does he drop behind it or try and get out into the middle of the table? Well, he's played it well. How does that look from his side? Well, he's got to be careful with this because he's got the wrong angle and he needs a lot of inside left English here. And he has to make sure he doesn't block himself out with the 9, so he's got to get enough power in it to pot the ball and get the cue ball off that opposite rail that we're looking at and then back across and out into the middle of the table again. And he's got away with it. But it's a delicate cut. I think he's got to run up and down the table here, unless he leaves himself high in this 9 again. Got to go up and down. Big margin of error in this shot, plenty of room to find a spot to play the 9. Oh, if that misses a 9 and goes straight, well, it's got to be the bank. And that's a perfect bank. If it doesn't bank in the top end, it will bank down in the bottom corner. But he's for some reason he's thinking about a cut, but that's never on. Got to play the bank. If you look at that middle diamond in the bottom rail there, that's your guide for playing the bank. And perfect. So Cobra redeems himself in rack number 3 and back into the lead. And so far the racks are going by the break. Break goes back to Albinario, but Albinario can't get a ball in the break so far. Now this is a bit of a toughie, potting the 1 and finding position up at that 2. And I think he might be going too far. If he nudges the 6, it might help him. And I think that has done, because that was heading right in behind a 4 ball. But this is a gilt-edged chance here now because the 3's hanging over the middle pocket. And it'll be a 4-6 combo. So it's only going to be an unforced error here that's going to prevent Cobra from running out. Just a delicate little one. The cue ball should be coming off the top rail and somewhere over to the left to play the 4 into the same pocket. And that 8 ball goes comfortably past the 9. So this is a little delicate touch shot just to get somewhere over to the right hand side. And he might play this with a bit of inside English to avoid running up and around the angles here, because he's going to hit the 8 and 9, so he wants to just come off that side rail, check the cue ball to prevent it running, and square it up so that he's got a shot on the 7. But the 7 to the 8 isn't dead easy. Well, he's went behind the 8 and 9, and that was a big risk. And now he's pretty straight in the 7, so this is all about the pace and the draw. He can draw back that way. He could go forward, but that's giving himself more work to do. And he's overdone it. Too much bottom. That's one of those shots where you have to hit the cue ball just below the equator and hit it with the power where it will draw, but it doesn't juice up, it doesn't get the speed into the cue ball. So now he's in trouble. And I have to say that Albinario is fortunate that it's only 2-1 so far, because that's the second error by Cobra. And that's an excellent shot. What a cut. Well, is he going to go for the bank again, or is he going to go for the cut? I still like the look of the bank. That bank looks odds on. And this will be against the break. And once again, no mistake by Cobra. And this time, he has the gap. He's got the 3-1 lead. And now he's breaking. And we've said this in the previous streams, that in such a short race to 11, when you get behind and you lose your break, which Albinario has just done, he's now going to struggle. And he needs that little bit of help. Cobra's come up dry, but hasn't done him any favours. Albinario's just got the safety, and that's going to be ball in hand. He's not going to get to the rail. So a mistake by Albinario. And a bad mistake. And maybe he should have been in the lobby, and maybe he should have been practicing. But I think there'll be no doubt that after this rack, if the rack ends up the way that it looks as if it's going it, Albinario, well, he couldn't be any more focused after that if he's going to be 4-1 down. And the other thing is, we'll see whether Albinario can prove why he was a multiple champion in virtual pool, and we'll see if Cobra can hold his nerve. Ideal shot is just to finish the cue ball here, so you can run that 7 in and run down for the 8. Well, you see, he's not made the line, and he's now going to have to play this with inside English slightly, or he's going to have to leave it long. The chances are he might leave it long, because if he puts inside English on it, he's going to come over, and there's danger of getting involved with that 9 ball, and that's why he's left it long. But now he's got the perfect angle to pot the 8 and just come back into the middle of the table for the 9. So it's Cobra who's going to take a 4-1 lead in this race to 11. And it's Cobra to break next, I believe. Well, now it shows you how much I know. It's back to Albinario. Well, he needs something on the break here. And it isn't working for him. He's not getting anything in the break, let alone getting position in a ball. But his lefties spread far and wide. And Cobra's got a difficult cut in this one. But no doubt he's going for it because the cue ball's going to go over for the 2. And that's not going to hit the sides of the pocket. Straight in. So the problem ball here is the 4. Well, that 4's not going to get potted into the pocket. He's going to have to play the combo. And look at the angle he has there. So there's a crucial shot going to come up in a minute after this 2 and 3. And you know, the 4 doesn't even go into this pocket because the 8's blocking it that way as well. So what's he got? He's dead straight. Well, there is a shot choice. He could try and go forward and try and come in here and play the 4 long. But it's going to be the combo. Now that 4 ball has to go that way off this 7 because he's playing the potting angle in the 7. And this is where it can go wrong because he's no 100% guarantee how far up the table the 4's gone, how close to the rail it's gone, and more importantly where the cue ball's going to end up. Well, in saying that, he's missed a combo, but he's actually left a dicey one here for Albi. But you feel that this again is an all or nothing shot. He has to get it. And it needs to bounce. And another delicate shot on this 5 is needed. I think he's going to have to do a draggy draw shot on this 5 to try and kill the pace out the cue ball, stop it running away. And he's controlled that well. That's a good shot. Once again though, remember what we say, you can't leave himself dead straight in the 7. And he's got the angle. Well, this is simple enough. He's got 2 choices. The simple one is off the rail and back up. Or he can go that way and out here. So he's gone left and he's left himself a reasonably straight in 9. And this is... well, Albinario needed this. He definitely needed that. He's got it back to 4-2. But the break now has gone back to Cobra. Well, there's ways this match can turn. And the first way is Cobra stops getting balls in the break, but he's not, he's potting them. The 1, the 2 and the 5 have gone. And the other thing is Albinario's yet to get a ball in the break, I think. So it can easily turn that way. Like I say, when it's alternate break, you really are, I've said it before, you're swimming against the tide when you're trying to, when you're playing at this level and trying to get yourself back into the match. So the problem here is, what does Cobra do about this 4 ball? Well, that looks, believe it or not, that looks a combo. Cut the 4 onto the 9 onto the 8. And you would think the 8 has to go in. It's set perfect. And that's a good shot. And this looks all too easy to run out. So anywhere on the left hand side of the table, just past the middle pocket, and he's on the 9. Left it a wee bit short, but he should still comfortably get this. Oh dear. Well, I always say that if you spend too much time looking at a shot like that, the gremlins creep in. And that's the first sign of nerves there by Cobra. And Albinario has got to pounce. And oh dear, what has happened here? Well, you'll never get a better chance than that in pinching a rack. So Cobra was the first to blink in that rack, but Albinario wasn't ready for it. And that is, I think, what you describe as a crucial rack. The difference of 4-3 to 5-2, so the gap is back to 3. And Albinario breaking off this time. He's got the 1 ball in the break, and he's sitting in the 2. And the problem is going to be the 4. Finding the gap to get in the 4. And he's got to come over to the left hand side. He cannot risk going up the table. And then if he plays the 4 from here, the problem is avoiding the 8 and getting out for the 5. And needs to bounce and avoid the 6. So here's the problem. Can he squeeze behind that 8 and get out for the 5? He's almost on the line. A little bit of right spin. Not too much, but just enough to avoid kissing into the 8. And he's managed to do that. But still got trouble ahead. Getting off this 6 ball and getting up for the 7. And he's left it pretty straight. And this is going to need a cut draw on this 6, which is what he's played, and that's excellent. You cut the ball into the pocket with the draw, and then as soon as that cue ball hits the rail, the spin comes into force, and he played it well. So this is going to be the first break and run for Albinario, and it's crucial. And no sooner has he done that than his momentum is stalled by the alternate break. It goes back to Cobra, leading 5-3. And bang, there goes the 9 ball, and all of a sudden it's back to 3 racks. It's 6-3. And that's the prime example, the perfect example of alternate break just killing your momentum. Cobra gets back to the table, breaks off and slams in the 9. And all Albinario's hard work in that previous rack has all but diminished. And Albinario breaks off in rack number 10, and he's back to square one. Dry break, and all the balls are there. What's happened here though? I think he's I don't know whether he can make, well, I don't think he can make the potting angle into the corner. He's looking at the cut into that right middle, and he needs to get this thinner than he thinks, because the 2 balls beyond the halfway part, the middle of that middle pocket, he needs to cut it back. Once again, oh, that little nudge on that jaw has done him a big favour. He was running down to no man's land there with that one, but he's sitting nice enough on this 3, but look at where the 3 is. Got to get this right. Not the 3, look where the 4 is. Could easily block himself out here or go too far towards this bottom rail. Ideally, somewhere in between that 5 and 8 would give him the cut on the 4. But he's decided to leave it long. And he's got an angle. Now this needs a bit of top and a little bit of right English, I think, or he could play inside. He's 2 choices. If he plays inside, he goes back that way and comes out. Or he goes that way and comes out. And he's not went through with the shot at all. So now what does he do? That needed a good bit more power, and that little bit of right hand spin to avoid hitting the 8 there. Well, the safety's easy enough. You send the 5 back to this rail here and the cue ball that way, somewhere up there. Once again, all out for the bank. Now what does he do? Well, that 6 ball, I think, is too close to the rail. I don't think the billiard is on. Hitting that 6 and knocking the 9 in, it's too far past the 9, I think. And Albinario now has only one option. The kick and hope. Well, if it stays there, he's got a chance. He's still got a lifeline here. The 6 goes past the 8. No doubt about that. But it isn't easy. It's into a blind pocket. But he should be on the 7. And played that one well. So Albinario is now backs to the wall. And he knows himself that he's still fortunate he's in the tournament. Larry had 3 great chances to put Albinario away when Larry was 6-2 down in the race to 11, then he was 9-5 down, and then Larry got back into it to go 10-9 in front and just could not sink the winning ball, and Albinario managed to scrape through. But he's going to have to work some kind of magic here if he's going to get back in this. And Cobra now takes his lead to 4, 7-3, and just needs another 4 to face off with Bedhead to see who's going to get into the final to face Yama. And the 5 ball certainly went in. The 7 ball has gone. And Cobra has a bank on the 1 if he wants it. The 4 ball, however, is the one that's going to cause the problem, as well as the 3. It's stuck behind the 8. So deciding on the safety. Well, the fact that Cobra hasn't hidden the cue ball behind the 6 there means he's going to be in trouble in a second or two. But you would think that if Albinario just skims off the yellow, the 1 ball is going to go to the top rail. It's going to be an easy enough kick for Cobra. And that's why he's pushed it through. But it's still an easy kick. And if Cobra can get this full in the face, he might leave Albinario in trouble here as well. If he can actually just kill that cue ball by hitting the 1 right full in the face, it will stop the cue ball and punch the 1 up the table. And that is exactly what he's done. And that's a good shot. Oh dear, what's happened there? He's fouled. And I even missed it in the stream. Well, he's obviously hit the 3 ball first or hit the 8 ball there, but I never seen it. That was a weird one. So it's an error, and more importantly, it's ball in hand for Albinario, and Albinario now has the dilemma with this 4 ball. That's the ball that's going to cause him the biggest headache. And especially where the 3 ball is, he's going to pot the 3, and it's going to take a brilliant shot to get somewhere between that 9 and 4 to play the 4 down this rail. And I don't know whether he tried to somehow get that cue ball into the 4 there. He hit the 9 instead. Well, now he's got the straight choice. The 4 ball is far enough past the middle pocket to be able to play a cut shot from here. That's all that he's got. And the angle he's got in the 3 means that he can get across. But the 4 ball, let's have a look. Well, that is tight in the rail. And this is tough. Hasn't got to worry about the cue ball. As long as he hits it with enough weight to get the 4 in the pocket, the cue ball's got to come over to the right. But this is not an easy 4 ball. That is right on the rail. And this will just, it's either going to go sweetly into the pocket, or he's going to punch it off the rail out into the table. And that's what's happened basically. It's pushed off the rail. Didn't get the connection right, but was such a tough shot. Now, Cobra would have had that same problem if he'd got there. But as it is, well, it's looking very likely to be 8-3 any minute now. And that's gone straight. He's got to draw this. If he draws it, bottom left English he's playing, so when he hits this bottom rail off that draw, he's going to draw that way, the cue ball goes that way. Just enough weight on it and spin to go right along the line. And that 9 is off the rail. And so it'd be a really bad connection for him to miss this. And that's going to get there. So Cobra is now just 3 away. And Albinario is looking for a break here somewhere along the line. Well, the 8 ball's gone in. And that little kiss by that 7 ball, has that done him? It certainly has, because it's nudged the 6 just into the potting angle of that 1. And Albinario is in dire straits here as to what he does. He's going to try the jump. Well, Yama played a jump that we thought was impossible in his last match. And Albinario hasn't quite worked that one out yet. And that table would have been fine for a run out had that 7 ball just not kissed onto the 6. That's a little bit of bad running that you don't need when you're in a dire situation like Albinario is. But that's the way the game goes. And Albinario said he needed Yama's cue. He certainly did. He needs a bit of technical advice there from Yama and how he managed to play that jump. And I would strongly suggest that Albinario's chances of coming back in this match are about 80-20 against. Cobra would need to fall apart now for anything like that to happen. Well, the one thing is, regardless of what happens, these players are all going to be well in the money once the tournament's over. Well, there's no way he's drawing that back because he's nailed to the rails. And the angle he's got in this 6 is not good. If he puts a lot of topspin on it, which he has to, this cue ball could run off the side rail into that 9. And he's not got much of an option but to go for this and just take the risk. He's right in the rail, so it has to be lots of top, probably even amp it. I would think you're better off amping this and just hitting and hoping you get a little break here. I can't see where he can avoid this 9. Well, he's digging in. Well, I suppose that's better than nothing. It's a high angle cut on this 7. And the 7's off the rail. So it all hinges on this. He's still got to do a wee bit with the cue ball to just stop it naturally running up into that top right hand corner where the 9 ball is. So that's why he's missed it, because he played a little bit of spin to come off the end rail and side rail and get on the 9. And Albinario is going to use the jaw here as well as the ball to create the angle to get back up for the 9. He can't hit this full in the face. He's got to use the jaw on the right hand rail, and then he can run around the corner and get back up to the left hand side. And hopefully for his case he's actually went up to the end of the table and looked at that 7. That's what he's done. Used the rail. And now A fairly straightforward cut in the 9, shouldn't be a problem. So the gap is reduced, but it's still a gap of 4 racks, and back goes the break to Cobra. Well, the 5 ball just pushed the 2 into the right middle, and Cobra has a little 1 ball to roll onto that 5 and just roll it on pocket weight if he can. Well, he's took a bit of a risk there, but he's still got the cut on the 1. The 3 does go past the 9, so he's going to have to go up and down the table. And he's controlled the pace in that well. Forward and left off the side rail. Well, that is not quite straight, so there's enough there just to stun this in and drop behind the 7. Can squeeze a little angle on that. It looks straight, but there's enough of the pocket there, and he's pretty straight that he can create the angle by just hitting it in off the left centre of that 6 ball, and he'll still just drop onto 7. Well, he's not taking that risk, he's left it awkward. I don't know why he didn't do it, because there's plenty of room there to do it. And now he's got a dilemma here, because the 8 obviously doesn't go past the 9. Well, sometimes they do say that you play the right shot. I don't know whether that was the right shot. He still left himself a pot, but he's left himself more work to do to get on the 8. And I think he's going to get there. In the end, it's worked out for him. So Cobra now is just going to be 2 racks away from a showdown with Bedhead and Albinario breaking off, and he's hoping for something here, and the 8 ball's going to go in. It just goes in, and he's got a none too easy cut on this 1 ball. That's a really tough starter. But other than that, all these balls are perfect. Now Albinario has a lot of pressure in this. It's once again all or nothing or safety. And that needs to bounce. And that's been played very well. And now the rest is up to him. Table couldn't be any more perfect. Well, this is a little bit, just a little bit fiddly. Obviously he's going to cut it in the middle. He's going to go that way. Now if he takes the risk and he just lets the cue ball do its thing, it's going to bounce somewhere. The question is whether he risks putting any spin in this or whether he tries drawing off the 4. He'd be very unlucky not to be in the 5. Well, he's taking it long. He wasn't prepared to take that risk. And that was the right shot there to prevent any of those problems. And now he's got a problem. He's gone too far in the 6. Well, if he just runs through to where the donut is, at least he's going to have a shot in the 7. Well, whatever you do here, don't underhit it. And he's hit it perfect. So, Albinario. That's another break and run, isn't it? Well, he's shown what he can do if he does get a ball in the break. At least we'll give him that credit. The problem is he just hasn't had enough. But the deficit is back to 4. But the break goes back to Cobra. And once again, the 5 ball has gone in. And I think something else. And not just the 5. And the only thing that might have came to Albinario's rescue, there's that 3 ball. That's just blocking the path of the 1. But no prizes for guessing what Cobra's going to try here. Is he lining up the combo, or is he thinking of the little thin safety? And just brush past the 3. Well, he's trying to squeeze it past it. He's done it. But that is an open invitation for Albinario to kick that 1 in. Now, Albinario is a pretty good 3 cushion player. He's pretty good at all disciplines. And he's going to have to be way off the mark here if he doesn't get this 1 ball in the pocket. Yeah, played it well and a reasonable enough pace. And the 3 ball, he just needs to totally focus on it. The cue ball's going over to the left. It'll miss the 4 and he'll have the 4 into this corner pocket where the cue ball is. Oh, tell a lie, it's the 2 ball he's on, isn't it? I forgot the 2 ball was there. Oh, shit. Oh, that's ended up a disaster. I'm so focused on the bloody 3, I forgot about the 2. Well, there's my first big mistake of the night. How's Albinario's luck? Well, he'll settle for that. I never even noticed that 2 ball was there. Shows you how much I'm paying attention. Because I was thinking where he'd left the cue ball, he was playing for the 3. Well, Cobra gets a kick. Oh, and look at what's happened to that 7 and 8. And now Albinario's going to have to deal with it if he gets there. Well, it wouldn't be me doing a stream if I didn't cock it up. I think I pretty much do it every time I do it anyway, so. Now, I'm wondering whether Albinario can get this cue ball somewhere as close to that rail as he can, so that when he plays this 6 ball, he tries and gets a lot of spin in it. Even at that angle, that's so tight to try and get into that 7 and 8. Now, what does he do? He's not got a great angle in the 4 to even try and break them and still leave himself on the 6. Well, he can create the angle off that side rail next to the 6 and try and punch the cue ball across and nudge something. Or he can try the draw. He's going for the draw, but I still think that's awkward. Yep, he's overdone it. Or has he decided to leave the cup? We'll never know. But either way, nothing's easy. Can he get enough of that 6 ball at that angle? Oh, well, the 6 has gone in. But how would you like this shot? It's about 3mm off the rail. Well, you've just got to go all out, but whatever you do, don't scratch off this. That's the only rule. He's drawing back onto the rail and back out into the middle for the 9, into the left-hand corner here. Oh, and it goes. Well, this 9 ball to get back within 3. And this time the break goes back to Albinario. Oh, this is an important break. And what's happening? Oh, well, the 4 ball has dropped in. And he's got a cut in the 1. He's got nothing easy here to start with, but if he cuts the 1 in, he's got to have a shot in the 2. The only place he's not going to have a shot is somewhere in the middle of the table behind those balls, or if he ran across in behind the 7. And he's well short of the 7. Now, what about the 3? Well, the 3 goes into the middle, but he's got too much angle in this 2, I think, to hold it. He might have to try and squeeze across to where the 8 ball is and play the 3 into this middle pocket where the donut is. That looks more like the shot he's going to have. Now, this is important because it's not easy to control it. He's got more angle than he needs. It's got to be a control of pace here. Well, he's tried to hold it. That's excellent. I didn't think he could hold for that 3. He's played it perfect. What's the angle in the 5? Well, he can certainly draw off it. And he didn't get into that enough. He was just a bit worried about getting too much into it and drawn into the pocket. So he's now left it slightly awkward. And he's played that with a lot of left-hand English there, so that he checked the rail and came back. He could have, if he went the normal way, he'd have went in behind 8 and 9. That made the shot even more difficult. Well, this is simple enough just to cut the 7, and as long as you control the pace, then you won't block yourself out in the 9. Just a gentle roll in. Well, he's went the other way. He made sure he went far enough, though. That's a crucial part of the shot. So into a blind pocket. And enough pace to get up to the right middle pocket. And it's looking like another rack back for Albinario. And we know now that he's now switched on in terms of focus, because he knows what has to be done. It's 9-7, but with Cobra breaking, there's absolutely nothing he can do about the outcome of this break. And that's the infuriating thing about such a short race, an alternate break. And Cobra has got a couple of balls in the break. The 1 and the 4 have gone, but he's got no shot in the 2. And now the pressure is mounting on Cobra a bit, because he knows he has to get this somewhere safe. These balls are all there, and it's whoever makes the first mistake in this 2 ball that's going to win this rack. And this is where it's a test of nerves and big tournament experience. And his clock's running out. And Albinario, well, the one thing you don't do is do the Mr. Nice Guy thing and give it back, because the shot clock is there for a reason. And Cobra has taken his eye right off the ball. I don't think he realised that his extension had gone. And that is definitely a sign that there's other things going through his head beside the actual shot clock and where it exactly is in this match. And that is, well, psychologically, that's given Albinario a bit of a confidence booster there. Now, I think he's finished straight in this 5, has he? Oh no, he's perfect. Well, there's one thing for certain here. If this match turns on that mistake by Cobra, especially now that it looks like Albinario is going to get to within 1, then he'll certainly live to regret that. I mean, this isn't a record-breaking tournament, you know, worth thousands of dollars. This is just a virtual game, but I mean, these guys are focused on what they're doing, and it's just as important as any of the type of tournaments. You're trying to play to how good you can play, but Cobra's just lost it there, and Albinario has not only got a couple of balls in the break, he's sitting on the 1. The 4 goes past the 9 comfortably. There's no worries there. And he's just got to take his time and plot his way around the table. And the more he looks at that 4, the more he's going to think there's a problem. But there isn't. There's plenty of room. But he's got to get good on the 4. If you play that 4 from any angle other than pretty straight, then it's a problem. So that's the one that could be an issue. Now, the angle he's got in the 2, he's surely just got to go forward and try and get somewhere there to leave this 4 as straight as he can. He doesn't want to get too elaborate here. Well, he's went in the short side, so now he's left to cut. And you see what I mean about angles. This is now why he's going to spend more time looking at this. He doesn't have his extension, and that 9 ball has suddenly doubled in size. So he's cut it to the far jaw. He's on the 5. And I think, how's the angle in that 5? Well, he's got enough to put a bit of right on it and get there. And that's gone a bit straight. Well, I think you have to just get lots of top on it and right off the side railing out. And, well, he's just finished on the rail, but he should be fine. So Albinario, well, he's worked for it and he's been helped a little bit, but it doesn't matter. He's at 9-all, and now the pressure is stacked on Cobra. Cobra breaking in rack number, what rack are we in? 19. Oh, the 3 ball thought about going in. Well, something went into the middle and the 8 ball's gone in. But crucially, what's went in? The 1's gone and he's sitting on the 2. So here's Cobra's chance to prove he's got the nerves to get there. Well, Albinario has lost 1 final rack decider in his first match against Mr. Bill. losing that 16-15 after being well in front. And then he's managed to scrape through against Larry. And at the moment, it's looking like Albinario is going to have to force a final rack decider, provided Cobra can track his way out in this very important rack. Well, the most important break in the match is about to happen, and it's Albinario that's going to be making it, because he's going to be doing it 10-9 behind and has no other options available to him. He has to get something on the break here, or at least it has to end up safe. Oh, where's the 9 going? The 9's gone in. Oh, geez, here we go. 9 in the break and a final rack decider, and I'm getting a little bit excited. Not as much as a Larry match, I'll tell you that. But it's Cobra breaking. Well, here we go again, deja vu. This is the most important break of the match. And something flew in. I don't know what flew in, but he's got a shot in the 2, the 1 and the 2. And the 3's in the open, and the 4's down here. Well, the only problem ball is going to be the 5. Well, I know over the years Albinario's got the bottle when it comes to this type of thing. I don't know about Cobra. So this is a shot. Easy enough to get on the 4. Now he's got to play the 4 and leave the 5 long if he's going to do it the simple way. He's going to have to leave the 5 into the same pocket that the 3's going in right now. And, well, he's had a rush of blood to the head there. He tried to stun that in instead of actually potting it and drawing it. I mean, there's 2 ways to look at it. He played the right shot in a way where he used the angle to stun it, but he should have drawn it, and that's a mistake. And Albinario is going to pounce here like a rabid dog, so he is. And the only problem now is he's going to have to do the same thing. He's going to have to leave it long. He's dead straight in the 4, nothing elaborate, and just stop the cue ball right where that 4 ball is. And this is where I've been saying all through the tournament, Albinario has yet to prove his worth in this tournament. He's yet to show the pedigree that he has over the years. And unless some sort of natural disaster befalls us and the server blows up, or he does something absolutely insane, he should pinch this match. And he's looking straight down the barrel here. Make sure the cue stick is centred and just roll it through. And Albinario has made a terrific comeback. Cobra has made 2 glaring errors, one with the shot clock and one with his last shot that he just played, and it's cost him. And Albinario is through to face Bedhead to see who's going to play Yamaguchi Taru in this year's final of the Virtual Pool 4 US Open. Well, how about that, folks? Well, he did play the right shot, but there's 2 ways to play it. You can play it that way, and if you've watched Virtual Pool 4 often enough, if you stun them into these pockets and you stun them offline, as soon as I hit that jaw, they ain't going in. when you hit them at that pace. They're going to hang up. Now, any other day that would have went in and they would have been sitting pretty and that would have been it, game over. But it doesn't matter. It's cost them. And Cobra is out. So let's look quickly at the bracket. We'll see that it's now updated. Albinario is through to round number 11. Now, this match has to be played by January the 14th, so that's 5 days that these two guys have to get together. That'll be another race to 11, and then the winner of that match will go on to face Yamaguchi Taru, who's sitting over here and has been for the past week or so, almost. And that'll be in a race to 21 final. Where the hell is Yamaguchi Taru? Well, he's up there somewhere. There he is. That'll be a race to 21, which has to be played by January the 18th. So I hope you enjoyed it, folks. Thanks very much for your company, and I will be doing my best to find out when Albinario and Bedhead are going to get together and get their match sorted out, because I hope to get it as well as the final. And with that, we will see you again soon, folks. Thanks for your company, and I hope you can join me again.